Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Tennova Healthcare. No one in East Tennessee offers more medical services than Tennova. From their cancer center to their heart institute, from their men's health center of excellence to their labor and delivery center, they have a stroke center, a robotic surgery center, allergy treatment, you name it. They have a team of specialists ready to aid you when it comes to diagnosis and treatment. Tennova Healthcare. You can learn more about them at tennova.com. All right. Not a great week for the University of Tennessee football brand away from the field. Some things that we've been waiting on actually happened this week, and then there was another little surprise thrown in there. Let's go to the graphics, just sort of a timeline thing here. A.J. Johnson and Michael Williams, who had been suspended from the team way back in November, they were indicted by a grand jury this week on rape charges. They will face those. Dre Bowles and DeAndre Payne, both former Vols, they were named as grand jury witnesses in this case. Butch Jones says that their transfers, both of those have gone now, their transfers had nothing to do with the fact that they were witnesses in this case. Riyad Jones, former Vol defensive back, came out this week, also involved in a recent rape investigation. He announced his transfer before the alleged incident. You track back to the spring, and former Vol Marlon Lane, who just graduated, had been accused, although nothing ever came of it. He had been accused in a sexual assault case. And the Tennessean reports today that another unnamed volunteer football player, still in good standing with the team, was accused back in September in a sexual assault, though the young woman there did not go to police. She tried to handle it internally through the University of Tennessee system. Guys, my question, first, does UT have an issue here in terms of discipline, or are these isolated instances?
I think they have a issue with awareness of players not knowing what's sexual assault and when the no means no, and putting themselves in situations like that where these kind of things happen.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I don't know that it's just limited here. I mean, I
Chuck,
think
don't dodge it.
No,
we know it's not limited
well, no,
here.
but I mean, I know that. Well, I think that's one thing you got to point out. The other thing is you wonder sometimes, and I've had people ask if not being able to go into like campus bars and restaurants and having more parties and activities off campus, if that doesn't lead to some opportunities for some problems. But you definitely need to dig a little deeper and find out and act better.
See, I think that's a very good point, because Tennessee has made a point, especially during season, players don't go to bars. And that sounds good, but college kids are going to be involved in alcohol. It's going to happen. And when you take it and put it on an off-campus environment, I think that's it could be even more dangerous than in a public place. Bob Hodge, your thoughts? Is this a discipline issue, or is this more of a societal thing? Is this an incident, just individual?
I'm going to go with Mike, and Tennessee needs to do a better job of making these players aware of things the way that society has changed over just the past 10 years. And then I'm going to add something to what Chuck said too. Yes, the off-campus parties and everything are a problem. The NCAA, in its infinite wisdom and doing away with dorms and putting these kids to where they're spread out all over Knoxville, so to speak, has not helped. So yes, the coaches need to do a better job, but the NCAA has made it harder on coaches to do that job because your guys are often in private apartment complexes. It makes it harder to monitor them, which is not an excuse, but it is a reason, I think.
Okay, a contributing factor. Last thing, we got about a minute here, so everybody can kind of be quick. Do these rapid-fire stories, I mean, let's face it, the headlines, the tickers across the country, it's not looking good for Tennessee at the moment. Does this in any way slow the program's momentum?
Well, it certainly could. I mean, obviously, it's not going to help it any. But you look at the discipline thing, John. To what you said, if Butch Jones hadn't acted so swiftly in the punishment for some of these things, I would say, yeah, maybe there is a discipline thing there. But the more this happens, and it seems like it goes across that scroll line, 50 times a day? So yeah, I mean, obviously, there's a negative impact there.
Well, it didn't slow them in recruiting. As far as this signing day is going.
Although
now,
you've had these three bang, bang, bang.
If it goes on, it certainly doesn't help.
I mean, you're going to have to talk to mamas and papas in the living rooms about this when you're talking about 3, 4, 5 people being accused.
I mean, I think it nicks them. It has to. I mean, when people see this, and you're out in, and Tennessee did a great job this year of recruiting all across the country.
Yes.
And this stuff is going all across the country. And maybe some kids that you're recruiting, those mamas and papas, this is all they see.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it has to hurt them a little
Well, certainly.
bit.
I mean, there can't be anybody over there that's happy about it.
Yeah,
it's-
but the hurt could be this or it could be this. You just have to wait.
Depends
and
on the
see.
parent,
Yeah.
depends on how Tennessee handles it. That's correct. When we just do our overtime segment later today, that's what we put online. We're going to talk on some more. We're going to talk about this subject a little bit more, some things that I don't want to necessarily talk about 11 a.m. Sunday morning on a television show that we will talk about online. So our overtime segment today will also be a little bit more on this topic and as Chuck was starting to get into, that's why I stopped him, a little bit about how this is becoming a bigger problem elsewhere and perhaps why. So that's in our overtime segment that we'll be putting up on sportsource.tv later today. When we come back in this next segment, there are some rule changes being kicked around for NCAA basketball and football. We'll give our guys a chance to say yay or nay on these changes. Come on back on the Sports Source.
Quality, quick. Trust Fast Frame.